Hey everyone, it's Rod with Power Group. Welcome back on the Pursuit of Wealth, your home for MJ stocks, crypto assets, and interviews. Today's Tuesday, July 25th. Hope you're well. And in this video, we're going to be discussing, we're going to do an update on Aleafia Health. They are going through creditor protection at the moment after a failed merger with Red, White, and Bloom. I did a video on this not too long ago, but we'll discuss all that and more. Before we get to that, though, make sure to smash the like, help support me in the channel. If you're new, you can subscribe, tick the bell, all that good stuff. You'll be notified on any future live streams or when I post a new video. Here's the video that I posted. It was 1 month ago on June 15th. Red, White, and Bloom acquiring distressed operator Aleafia Health. And then back on July 17th, MJ companies Aleafia and Red, White, and Bloom scrap merger. And that was announced back in June, as I mentioned. But other holders representing more than a third of the outstanding debentures have communicated to Aleafia and RWB that they will not accept the terms of the settlement set out in the merger agreement the company added. As a result, the deal could not be completed. And then this article from today, July 25th, MJ operator Aleafia enters creditor protection after failed merger. So financially distressed Canadian MJ company Aleafia Health has entered creditor protection shortly after the failure of its attempt to merge with U.S. multi-state MJ operator Red, White, and Bloom brands. And then there's been some speculation that Curaleaf could potentially acquire Kronos. So we're starting to see this trend emerge. We had TerraSand upgrade to the TSX as well. Curaleaf is speculated to be the next multi-state operator to upgrade to the Toronto Stock Exchange, a major Canadian exchange here in Canada. And I think this trend will continue, but because of the fact that Aleafia was so financially distressed, that obviously put a damper in the merger and the plans that were set forth. The initial creditor protection order granted by Ontario Court under Canada's Company Creditors Arrangement Act, CCAA, affects Aleafia and certain of its Canadian subsidiaries, including Emblem MJ and Cannabo Medical Corp, according to Tuesday news release. Aleafia and Red, White, and Bloom announced July 14th they had called off the merger after some holders of Aleafia debt declined to accept the terms of the proposed settlement, as we went over a few minutes ago. RWB is funding Aleafia's CCAA proceedings via debtor in possession, a DIP, loan worth 6.6 million Canadian dollars. The stay of the proceedings and DIP financing will provide the Aleafia Group with time and stability required to consider potential restructuring transaction and maximize the value of its assets for the benefit of its creditors and other stakeholders, Aleafia said in a release. So we could see a potential stalking horse bid, which is just a manner of maximizing the value of assets before they go to auction, similar to what happened to Zenabis. This may include the sale of it or substantially all of the business or assets of the Aleafia Group of a court-supervised sale process. And Fire and Flower actually going through a similar situation, and we knew that this was something that we could be expecting. I said for a while now, I've been on record to say that we could see a lot more of this happen, not just in the producer space, but in the retail space. Fire and Flower went down, and there's still a lot more to come, right? Over 1,000 LPs, licensed producers here in Canada. That's not sustainable, and there's just way too many retailers as well. So I think a lot of the mom and pop shops are going to get hurt the most, but Fire and Flower being a big corporation, over 1,000 employees, that was definitely no small insolvency either, and going under the same CCAA proceedings. But KSV Restructuring has been appointed as monitor of the CCAA proceedings for Aleafia, and Aleafia is just the latest Canadian MJ operator to use CCAA in an attempt to address insolvency. In 2022, a disproportionate number of Canadian companies using the CCAA were involved in the MJ industry. This year, Canadian MJ retailer Fire and Flower, as I mentioned, and producer Fiona Group, formerly CanTrust, have received creditor protection under CCAA, as has Chalice Brands, a Canadian holding company with assets in Oregon. So again, it's unfortunate, definitely my heart goes out to those affected by this, and Aleafia, obviously not what they wanted to see, financially distressed, but this is just obviously the lay of the land and sign of the times. I don't think that we're going to see this trend stop anytime soon. I think it's going to continue. We're likely going to see a lot more mergers and acquisitions, not just from a Canadian perspective, but again, we're starting to see this trend emerge where we're seeing multi-state operators uplist to the TSX and then acquiring Canadian companies, right? So in my opinion, there's still a lot of consolidation that needs to happen from the producer side of things, not just Canadian producers, but the U.S. producers as well. And, inflation, high interest rates definitely taking a toll. And with the lack of regulatory movement in the U.S., we're still seeing a lot of companies and they're unable to get traditional funding. And that's to be expected, right? Because we're not seeing any major catalysts in sight. But we could see potential HHS rescheduling. Looks like safe banking might be over. The hopes of that passing might be over. But again, we just don't know for sure. But, we've been let down in the past. I said take it with a grain of salt. I didn't get my hopes up I thought it had a better chance now of passing more than ever, but I've been on record. I even did a video on it. What has the best potential of passing and what would be the best for the industry? Safe banking passing or rescheduling or even descheduling by HHS and then ultimately the DOJ and then off to Biden. I think that safe banking would be a great step in the right direction, but that's not going to solve the 280E tax burden. That's not going to solve a lot of the major pressing issues in the industry. And I think 280E is a big proponent of that. It's a big reason why we're seeing a lot of companies, they're getting taxed on their gross. They're not able to write off certain, parts of their business, and that's creating a lot of tax burden, right? So until that gets addressed, I think HHS is our best bet. I think that coming on the fall, maybe October, somewhere around October, that'll put us around that year mark where Biden has encourage them to finish by the end of the year. And then we should see into the fall, I think a big rally, maybe 3 to 6 months from now, we see a bottom, but it's not looking like a bottom is going to be in anytime soon because like I said, there's probably a lot more bankruptcies and insolvencies that are likely going to come and a lot more mergers and acquisitions. And until that happens, I don't think we're going to have a bottom being set. And until we get something like a major catalyst like safe banking or legalization of medical in the US, if we get HHS rescheduling, even descheduling, I think the most likely scenario is we're going to get HHS come back with a recommendation of Schedule 3, and then we'll slowly work our way up, right? And then in 2025, maybe we even get removed and we get descheduled completely. But I think the most likely scenario is we get HHS coming back with a reclassification. We'll probably get a rescheduling to Schedule 3, right? And then that will be the catalyst, in my opinion, because that could solve, depending on how everything goes, that could even potentially solve 280E, right? So that would be massive for the industry, and that would be the biggest catalyst and the most probability and likelihood of passing, in my opinion. So that's just my thoughts and opinions. But again, I don't think that the pain is over yet. I think that we're probably going to see a couple more legs down, potentially, maybe one more leg down, if not sideways action for the next couple of months. And then into the fall, I think where we're going to see that reviewal from HHS. And I think that's our best bet for catalyst looking forward. But again, it's just the sign of the times. Take it with a grain of salt with safe banking, obviously. But this is a time where we can change our mindsets. We can accumulate, right? We can do our best to get a side hustle. Do our best. If you're at a dry powder, what can you do to bring in a few extra dollars to average down, right? Not telling you to buy, sell, or hold. This is not financial advice. This is for entertainment purposes only. I'll never tell you to buy, sell, or hold. But in my experience, when things are down 90% and everything's looking bleak, it's usually just a matter of time before we see things start to shift to the upside and change momentum back to the bulls. And I will gladly continue to dollar cost average and buy this dip because, like I said, if we can find a few companies, right, 1 or 2 unicorns that are going to be in 3, 5, 10 years plus from now, that will make generational wealth. And that's what I'm here for. I'm not here for taco gains. I'm here for the medicine of the future. I was put on this earth, like I said, to spread the MJ gospel, and I'll be here making videos for the rest of my life. So going to end it there. Let me know what you think of this news in the comments below. Who do you think could be next to go insolvent or even, potentially bankrupt? Always love hearing from you. And let me know if you agree with me, disagree with me. I always encourage thoughtful discourse. Let me know your thoughts and opinion on what the best chance of the most likelihood of getting a catalyst. Is it safe banking or is it HHS coming back? Rescheduling, descheduling. Always love hearing from you. Going to end it there. It's Rob with Power Group. Thanks again for joining us in the pursuit of wealth. Have a great night. We'll see you in the next video.